Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EUS Challenger Series number 9. We're currently in the second best of 3, in the second game, in fact, between eSuba and, I keep wanting to say Bench Gaming, but it's now Reason Gaming with their recent swap up to their name. We have Elise Z immediately banned out, but I am Pulse. I am once again joined by the consistently amazing Spuddington Metters.
I am now Spuddington Metters. Spuddington Metters.
Spuddington Metters.
Dude, how are you doing?
How did I do that? Oh god.
It could be worse. You could have called me Metus, which
I could have done.
Or you could have called Stress Strees, which you've also done before. So you have a bit of a track record. But it's all good. We are on to game number 2, as you say. I'm a bit behind because I'm casting from the stream. You said that Elise and Zed were banned. Have any been added to that mix?
Only Lee Sin, and that, you know, that's not hardly surprising, honestly, from what we saw last game from Reason Gaming, in fact, against eSuba, and we saw Jarvan just become completely decimated from that Lee Sin pickup.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat comments there. You just went full retard.
Thank you, chat. I honestly deserve it. Give me all the hate you can.
And you never go full retard, as you know from Tropic Thunder. Either way, Lee Sin has been banned out, and you were saying this in the break, actually, Pulse, that you would be amazed if they let Lee Sin slip through the cracks after that dominant performance from Ko in the first game. So they have eliminated that problem. I am curious, though, are they going to take the Jarvan again? Because it just really didn't work for them in game number 1.
I think we're both finding it a little hard to maintain our composure right here in the cast. But we will have Shen picked up as the first pickup coming in from eSuba, now their first pick. Jarvan apparently being hovered over by Reason Gaming, and that's really salt in the wounds, Metters. It's like, well, your Jarvan didn't work out too well. Guess we'll pick him for this round. And they haven't logged it in just yet, but we'll see what they follow up with.
Yes, that is definitely going to be sad times for Luigi if their Jarvan turns out to be something exquisite. So either way, I am quite curious as to how this Shen is going to work. Shen is a character that's very versatile in the sense that he could be playing top, could be in the jungle. It's an either-or champion. So more often than not, I guess you could say that Shen is played at top, Pulse. I guess you'd go along with that?
Yeah, for sure. There's not many times that we see Shen in the jungle anymore. Sometimes we do, but mostly in that top lane, purely because of that split pushing potential, getting Shen there faster, and also making him a complete brick in that top lane. So there's very few lane opponents Shen has a bad matchup against, and even if he does, he can just sit there and farm with Vorpal Blades on the turret. He's absolutely okay with that, and the key burst makes it very, very difficult to push him out. And plus he's got some decent trading power as well in those ganks. In fact, we will have Evelyn coming out. And something that I was going to mention before but didn't get around to it because of my previous slip was that they didn't come out with an Evelyn ban or a Shen ban. And having both of those picked up by eSuba, it looks like Reason Gaming might be picking themselves into a corner.
Yes, now picking Shen first, it does tell you quite a lot about the enemy's kind of mentality going into this game. Shen is a split pushing champion. Because of his stand united, his ultimate, he can suddenly just pop from top to bottom or whatever the case may be. So picking the Shen and Caitlyn in particular, I wouldn't be too surprised. Obviously I'm slightly behind, so by all means jump over me, Pulse, if they do lock them in, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Reason Gaming go for a high engaged kind of team, because trying to burst down that stand united Shen ultimate on the target will effectively just take it into a 4 versus 5, and his split pushing will be for naught.
Yeah, well, we've got to remember, though, that we have Evelyn and Shen. We've seen this a lot in Asia, where you have that great initiation potential with Agni's Embrace, and then immediately with the ultimate stand united onto Evelyn, and the shield from Agni's Embrace. That's like, what, 1,500, and that's very early on into the game if you land that Agni's Embrace on 4 or 5 people. So that's really, really strong, and Evelyn can just build damage as well. That's regardless of how Evelyn builds. And for that first couple seconds of that team fight, you've got Evelyn in your face, basically acting as like a lightning rod for the rest of the team to lay down the damage, and bringing out Caitlyn as well. They have a very good scaling team into that late game. We'll see what else they bring in to flesh out the rest of that lineup, but they're looking so far like a Sona, so they not only have that initiate, but great AoE as well, and the Orianna.
It is really, really terrifying. But you gotta say from Reason as well, the AoE damage that they possess is pretty horrific as well here, Pulse. The Hemo play, Chain of Corruptions, Cataclysm, and then Tidal Wave. So similar champions being picked up here from Reason Gaming. And it is one of those kind of compositions where you are going to be scared to step out of position. You're going to be scared when you know those ultis are off cooldown. With the Sona and Orianna though, again, it's that kind of composition that eSuba are trying to run, where it's an in-your-face, up-in-your-grill, all-in combo. You got Evelynn, Shen, as you say, a beautiful combination right there and then you got the ball delivery system from either Shen or Evelynn on top of that with Orianna, and then crescendo. So it's kind of a similar composition. It's similar direction from both teams as game number one. I am just hoping from eSuba's perspective this time around it goes much smoother, because last game it just didn't pay off in any way.
Yeah, it's definitely about the executions, who we've got the Initiate and the strong AoE against, once again, the counter Initiate, or even Initiate on their own terms as well. So we'll see how this turns out, but now with the Jarvan being on Reason Gaming's lineup, we'll see how this turns out into the game as well. Ku, of course, is a very aggressive jungler, likes to get the early advantage and shove it right down the throat of the enemy jungler, so we'll see if he can do the same thing against an Evelynn, who has pretty good trading potential. But until then, guys, we will be jumping onto a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be in the second game between Reason Gaming and eSuba. See you soon.
Hello guys, welcome back to Chaos TV's live coverage of the US Challenger Series number 9. This is the second game between Reason Gaming and eSuba. Game number 1 did go fairly comfortably in the end to Reason Gaming. I'm Betis, joined by Pulse, and we are right into the action here, Pulse. I'm just wondering if we're going to have that first blood kicking off. Doesn't look likely though.
Yeah, not at all, but at least you got my name right, is more than I can say for myself.
I was thinking of saying Spuddington, or introduce myself as Mettington or something, but no.
More mature than I, but we will have eSuba just looping around the bot, and we do have Reason Gaming now looking for their own invade, but of course that ward that you cited out before, Metas, will be going down. The Hail of Arrows comes out as well from Varus, but it doesn't look like we're going to have any action kicking off just yet, because they do know the location of Reason Gaming. They're not reacting with that top lane either, so they will just be pulling themselves back, not able to fish for that first blood with that Nami as well, along with the Akka Prison. But meanwhile, top lane, we do have Herden and Lugi maybe looking for their own first blood on the top lane.
I see what you did there, Pulse. Fish for the first blood with Nami. Puns of damage. Impulsible. Guys, on Twitter, go hit Pulse up. Literally. Against the side of the head. Either way, we are into this game. Nothing has kicked off just yet. The minions and the buffs will be spawning in about 11 seconds, and both junglers seem fairly happy just to stay on their own side. That being said, actually, eSuba are coming in for the late invade here, and this could pay out dividends for them. Patience seemingly a virtue. It's going to be 3 against 3. Blue has been started here. Very nice timing coming in from eSuba, because all this is doing right now, it is halting off Ko. There is nothing that he can do, and you can see on his red buff, it is being stolen out right now. So some revenge coming in right off the bat from Luigi. And the last time around it was a complete role reversal.
Yeah, and they were probably like, oh, great, we've pushed them off our blue buff, not realizing that the red buff was already gone down in the meantime. Such a good play coming in from eSuba. It was just kind of like, it's mind games, because it's like, okay, a contestant is coming out of the blue buff, we push them away. Good. That's what you expect to happen in every other game. Not often you see plays like that with 2 men picking up that red buff. And who did that red buff go to? Actually went to Lugi as well. So that's taken some of that away from Ku. But it looks like they read them like a buck, and Ku will be actually going onto that red buff of eSuba's. Meanwhile, we have Rikatan going in with the assistant, and Ku just around the corner. Lugi smells a rat though, with West AD carry West coming in as well, along with the rest of the bot lane. And Nardius charging up the piercing arrow, does some damage to Sona, not too much at this early level. Now contesting this red buff as well. This could go into the team of Reason Gaming as well. Ball comes over for the Vision. There's a lot of early action already coming into this game, Metas, and Lugi will not able to pick that one up with the smite, even though we did have it, and Ku picking that one up, looping around the side, maybe looking to aggress once again onto that jungler of Evelyn. Flagger Drag comes down, not too much damage coming out, but he is chunking him down slowly, and Lugi actually does have the flash, and flashing that away underneath that turret. But that's a summoner, that's a big summoner coming down already from Evelyn.
Wow, Ko is really stamping himself as an e-bully here. Both games he has been slapping around Luigi upside the head. Yes, they managed to steal away the red buff, but Jarvan's like, screw this, let's just go and return the favor. Had a lot of cavalry behind him, so managed to pick that one up, and it is now coming around for the blue buff. He is not content with a couple of steals. Rikatan is going very low from Bimbo. First blood, meanwhile, is actually a bot lane to Varus, and Rikatan will go down from that Dragon Strike, courtesy of Jarvan. So, really nice start from Reason Gaming once again. Question is Ko going to go ahead and try and steal this blue?
He definitely wants it. Flag goes over the wall. It's definitely in range for the smite. He doesn't have it just yet, but the Dragon's Strike comes over the wall and steals it anyway, Metas. And we just see Ku dominating, being so strong, and I couldn't have put it better myself. Definitely an e-bully.
I honestly think that at this point, Luigi is thinking about calling the police. He's done with this harassment. He is like, Ko, what do you have against me, dude? What is it about me that you don't like? Because both of these games, Ko has been on fire. This counter jungling is some of the most brutal that I've ever seen, Pulse.
Yeah, and you got to think from Luigi, it's just like, you know what, screw it. I took Job in the first game, you counter-jungle me. I pick Evelyn, even more aggressive jungle, you counter-jungle me. Doesn't matter what I pick, how aggressive I am, and how my team reacts, you're still gonna counter-jungle me. I might as well just go into your jungle, or just sit at Fountain. He's level 2, Q's still there, he wants more blood. So much damage coming out, I want your lunch money as well, he's saying. The flag and drag comes down, picks up another kill. I've just gotta feel sorry for Evelyn.
I don't just want your jungle, I want your soul. I'm just gonna camp everywhere where you could potentially be. And honestly, I'm thinking maybe Luigi at this point is like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and run into your fountain, because that's gonna be less painful than this onslaught that Jarvan is putting out. Everything said and done, Evelyn level 2, getting towards 3, Ko is nearly level 5, and that is a carbon copy from game number 1, where I have to say that Luigi never ever managed to recover from that position. Let's cross our fingers here, Pulse, and hope this time around he does have an answer.
Yeah, and based on composition, they have an answer as a team as a whole, because obviously Evelyn, with that ultimate coming in from Herden, is great initiation potential. Get themselves just barely into that mid-game, and their composition would really pay off. At the moment, though, we're just kind of hoping that Evelyn can hit that level 6, at least in the 30-minute mark, because that's all they really need. As long as they get that level, okay, but I don't think Q's going to let that happen.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations as well where it's not just the case of Evelyn trying to get to 6, but this means that Jarvan is going to hit cataclysmic proportions very, very soon. And that's going to just put pressure on top lane, it's going to put pressure on bot lane and mid, just everywhere. Due to the fact he's also higher, that is going to make his smite more powerful. So even Dragon plays then come into contention. It's going to be difficult for Luigi to try and take Dragon at this point, because it's very easily stolen away from Ko. It's just this domino effect that we've talked about so often, Pulse, where one small thing suddenly turns into a huge thing, and Ko, again, surprise, surprise, is going for more counter-invading.
Yeah, he may even set himself up in the bush once again, pink ward that be picked up by Jarvan, just making sure he can completely lock down Evelyn. He will see her in just a second, so he might wait in another brush. Will be revealed, however, by a ward placed down by eSuba, so Luigi will see that and back off himself, and Q's going to know they have that vision around their area. Meanwhile, bottom, and meanwhile in every lane that isn't Q being in that jungle, because we haven't actually looked at anywhere else, just been like, well, Jarvan's dominating this game, but at bottom as well, they're putting down the hurt. They're about 10 CS ahead, and that's, you know, not massively significant, but this early into the game, that's fairly decent, and keeping himself in good CS total and zoning them out as well, that just paints the picture for this game in general.
Indeed, not just 10 CS ahead though, Pulse also did manage to get first blood. So that's going to be another nice amount of gold in his back pocket. And it's a case now where bot lane knows that there is no way that Evelyn can come down and make big plays. That being said though, Pulse, as if to try and prove me wrong, Luigi has moved to bot lane. This is where Evelyn is going to excel. It's difficult to see it coming, and then she walks over the pink ward. So again, now Jarvan knows exactly what is going on, and he's maneuvering into position. This could be painful.
Yeah, but the ward will once again reveal him, so Luigi's still on the back foot, but he should be safe for now. In fact, he turns the corner, flag and drag comes down, doesn't quite pick him up, and at least Q knows he's around the area. He, of course, was fishing around for this red buff because they did take it out, but meanwhile, we did have a kill going down at bot lane. Top lane, Ignite goes down to Mozilla as well. Now following up onto Caitlyn, meanwhile, that bot lane, but they're not quite going to pick up another kill. And I feel like we're getting a little too fixated on this jungle.
Yeah, but it's understandable why, because look again, Ko is going for that red steal, and Luigi's not even bothering to contend this. As the smite on cooldown, and now Orianna is going down in mid lane, so it's just going from bad to worse. Every lane seemingly hemorrhaging apart from top, and Herden must be like, guys, twice in a row, I'm doing pretty decent in my lane, everyone else is falling to pieces. Because his Malphite last game, Pulse, honestly, was pretty damn solid. He did a really nice performance. This time around on Shen, similar kind of situation. He's neck and neck with Mozilla, but everywhere else is crumbling.
Yeah, and honestly, from the perspective of Reason Gaming, they don't need to do anything about Shen. It's like, because in the first game, he likes to play these tanky top laners, and we saw that from Malphite as well, but they can't do anything, because even if they do get to that situation, it's like, well, it's Shen. Shen's not going to be the biggest damage dealer in the world unless he builds himself like an AD carry, and he doesn't have the gold, he's not dominating his lane as hard, he's just playing consistently, I think is the best way to put it. And Mozilla is starting to farm up very, very well indeed. 73 farm at the moment as he's scary in his own right, but we do have Ku coming from that as well. Not content to just go for the jungle, but also these ganks on top lane as well. Ultimate comes down, and that's another kill picked up from the hands of Reason Gaming.
I am just thinking that this game may be even shorter than we first anticipated. I don't speak Czech personally, but in all chat polls, I don't know if you caught that, they said push mid please, and then I kind of recognized the word of stream, so I'm assuming that right now Luigi has thrown in the towel. He's AFK at spawn. He is done with this e-bullying. He's finally had enough. He's not moving. I think this game could certainly be over very, very quickly. This is a real shame because obviously in the best of 3 in the Challenger Series, a lot of teams do queue up to join this tournament. A lot of teams do want to be in this tournament. So I hope from a respectful point of view and sportsmanship-wise that eSuba do keep trying. The game is not over. It's only 10, nearly 11 minutes in. Yes, it's very one-sided. Yes, Evelyn is probably feeling awful right now. But still, the game is never over until that Nexus falls.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot about their composition in the sense that if they do get the level 6 on Evelyn, which will happen eventually because how experience works, then they will be able to initiate regardless because their composition is pretty damn strong. And if they pick themselves up even a small objective, then they'll be in good shape. Currently, in fact, we have the Tidal Wave coming down, and Kaden will, in fact, won't be tagged by that. Both flashes being burnt by that bot lane. And just they're feeling the pinch all over the board. They just need to drag themselves into that mid game where their composition might pull themselves through. But at this point in the game, it's looking pretty dicey.
Definitely dicey, no doubts about that whatsoever. Luigi's trying his best, his damnedest to pull himself back into this game, but also Rikatan needs to be very careful because he's very vulnerable. That's exactly what we're seeing. Sona has just gone down a bot lane. Here comes the Stand United on Rikatan. Shockwave, beautiful flash from Bimbo, completely negating the ulti from Orianna, and that is 2 back-to-back kills in mid and bot respectively, even with the Evelyn gank. So it's just not looking good here, Pulse. As much as I'd love to inject enthusiasm, when the game is this one-sided, there is only so much you can talk about.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have Herden actually aggressing onto Bimbo. He knows his cooldowns are down. Ignite comes out as well, but pulling himself even into his own jungle is a risk in itself, knowing that it's Ku's jungle now. You know, it's Evelyn's off the board. She's trying her best to do stuff elsewhere, but Hayden immediately gets nuked down. It's just like, well, guys, I didn't even move into my own jungle, and I'm taken behind nearly at the inhibitor turret. Well, might as well just die.
Might as well just die. Save myself any additional pain or torture. At this point, normally I'd ask you, how can eSuba come back into this game? Is it worth me asking you that, Pulse? Or are you just going to do what I do and say, I have no damn idea?
Yeah, I'm going to completely copy that way of thinking method. It's just, honestly, what can they do? I've said so many times about, well, Louis has just face checked the bush again, and Ku's there to meet him.
Adios, amigo.
Yeah, I know, right? The Kite Caller's blessing comes down. It's only a matter of time. The flash comes down to seal the deal, secure that kill. Demon Spirit, and the trap does lock him up. But again, Evelyn, level 5. That's the same level as the support.
Oh. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. It is pretty painful. They're still typing in all chat, and I would love to have a translator for this, because they're talking about the stream. They're actually talking about you as well, Pulse, but Rikatan is going down, and it's going to be Ignite on Ko, but he will manage to pull himself back. So, again, quite interested. Strangely enough, what they're typing in all chat is more interesting than the game. That is a sad state of affairs.
Yeah. And now that my name has come up, I'm kind of interested. But meanwhile, bottom, we've got the flash over the wall. That flash blade coming in from Nami, the Tidal Wave as well. And Nardius picks up another kill. Demon Spirit forces himself back, but that's a double kill coming out. And, well, every lane is completely dominating its own right. Missed a kill in mid lane because I assume Evelyn just exploded and completely popped.
She did. That was Stranglethorns into death. So not a great way to go. It makes really sad reading from an eSuba's viewpoint here. Nobody has managed to pick up a kill yet. Everybody has been in the deaths as well. So It's one of those kind of circumstances that it's just a sad game. They're probably feeling awful right now. Their confidence is completely at zero, pushing the self-destruct button, because there is no doubt in my mind from what they were saying before, Pulse, that eSuba was seriously thinking about just throwing in the towel. They were AFK for a little while at spawn, then talking about streaming and such came up in all chat, and then Luigi decided to move again. But this must be just a crushing defeat in so many different ways. Just for your confidence alone, Pulse, it must really take it out of you, because that's 2 games back to back that have been very one-sided pretty much from the first minute.
Yeah, and apparently what they were saying in chat, Mozilla translated it for me, is honestly I had to hand it for eSuba. I really like the statement they're making. They basically said, we're sorry for our poor play, and the fact that they want to be invited to future Challenger series. And that's actually really nice to hear from the team. They don't need to say that at all, because honestly, this happens. It's a game, and sometimes you get beaten. That's what happens. But the fact that they make a statement like that, I've got to hand it to them. That's actually really nice to hear.
It is, and it shows the right attitude as well. We've had a few teams in the Challenger series that didn't perform great in the first showing or two. For example, Copenhagen Wolves, as Varus steals away the red with style with the piercing arrow, just to rub salt in the wounds. But Copenhagen Wolves, they looked quite sketchy the first couple times. You had them in the Challenger series, Pulse, and now look at them. So teams can develop, they can evolve, they can improve. And this is one of the best forms to do it in the Challenger circuit. So awesome attitude to have. This could potentially be a throw in the making, though. They're going for an early Baron. They're going to take it down very quickly. Took a lot of damage in the meanwhile, though. Taliev comes out. Nice taunt away. The Shadow Dash will alleviate that. But here comes the scary Jarvan and the ghosted up Mozilla. Chasing after Herden. It's only a matter of time before he drops the flash as well from Vladimir. It's going to be Stanley lighting away, actually, but will die just before getting away.
Yeah, it's kind of, will he escape? Actually, no, there's too much damage coming in from bench. And, sorry, Reason and Demon Spirit. Well, I was going to play-by-play that, but it's kind of difficult to when one spell essentially takes out 80% of your HP. So, Luigi coming around the side, Chains of Corruption comes down as well, whiffs, and, well, Caitlyn will be happy about that one, but it's only a matter of time you have to feel until this game closes out.
Yeah, so mad props right now to eSuba. They've got the right attitude. They want to stay, playing. They want to try and make a showing of themselves. They probably feel terrible. Oh my good lord, Caitlyn gets obliterated. Again, how can you play-by-play cast that? Just one word sums it up, melted. That's pretty much all you need to say. That's going to be the mid tower falling as well. And at this point, honestly, Varus could probably 1v5. He is that damn strong.
Yeah, and Agnes Embrace comes down more CC than anything. I mean, if we were looking at damage, that's not what you look for when it comes to a burst carry. And Piercing Arrow has been charged up, all just slightly with, and now the inhibitor dropping at around 17 minutes. Looks they are looking to close this one out. Shen coming in from behind, so they might make some sort of play happen. It will be a 5 versus 3 situation, but with Q there as well, they could definitely make it happen. Flag and drag over the wall. Hayden gets immediately locked up with the damage coming down, and Piercing Arrow comes out, dominating from Bimbo A. The Cataclysm comes down as well, just completely evaporates that Sona, and he will be moving on to the towers as well.
So, is it too early to start talking about MVPs here, Boss, do you think? Do we need to wait until the end of the game, or is that kind of just a set in stone thing already?
I think we've got some time to talk about it, and well, I think we'll kind of look at how this chase will progress. Flash over the wall from Luigi, flag and drag follows as well. Cat and mouse game as always, but Nadia's looking to actually come in from the side. 323 crit is actually about a fifth of Evelyn's HP, and so MVP matters.
I was going to say it was like a cat and mouse, but the cat happened to be a lion. And there's just nothing the mouse can do. Flash through the wall, fair enough. I've got a flag and drag. What's up, bro? You're dead anyway. MVP for me is Ko, which is no big surprise, but both games he just bossed it. It's really that simple.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and now with everyone being picked up left, right and centre, interesting Tyler Webb comes out. In fact, tagged Sona, I say interesting, and it was actually perfectly calculated. I guess I won't have any opinion on any games at all, but Hayden now comes in with... well, he comes in, and I guess that's all he really did, and all I can really comment on.
He comes in, and then briefly goes out again, back in the death chamber. That was all of 1 second, and that's a Shen, ladies and gents. So it goes to show just how strong Reason Gaming, oh, they're gonna try and pull this one back. It is last chance saloon. The final curtain is full, but look at Stranglethorns and the plants doing so much damage. Ace the Hole comes out. That is an interesting flash from Dirtjun. Kind of.
I've got you, bro. I've got
you, bro. Oh, JK, you just took it in the backside. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's actually, you can recall what I'll just stay in. So now we're 22-0. The question is, I think on everyone's mind is, can eSuba pick up a kill?
I thought, honestly, you were going to say, can eSuba bring this back?
Oh, right.
In which case, I was about to leave TeamSpeak and never speak to you
Kick
again.
me out of the caster lineup, yeah.
It is possible, that because I'm trying to bring some kind of enthusiasm, excitement into this game, but honestly, it would just be dishonest. That eSuba are going to lose this game. Everybody knows it. It is an ironclad fact. Whether they can get a kill or not, though, and maybe even get a few kills and get there, well, the answer is no. They just answered that for us because they surrendered.
Yes, indeed. Curse of the commentator, indeed. Piercing Arrow picks up another kill just to round this one off. And none of this is apparently godlike, but none of that actually matters. 7-0 and 7, 7-0 and 4, 7-0 and 3. Pretty solid stats coming in from RG.